If you're concerned that your baby is where they're supposed to be with regard to their milestones, a little bit behind or a little bit ahead, keep watching. In this video, I'm going to cover 5 different areas you want to pay attention to. I'm going to cover social emotional, gross motor, fine motor, cognitive, and vision skills that you want to take a look at when it comes to your 2-month-old baby. Before we get into the milestones, I need to make 2 quick points. The first point is that you might have a baby that is moving their head, rolling over, and actually trying to push themselves up, versus another baby that still seems to be struggling holding their head up. And both of these babies could be considered within the normal, quote-unquote, normal window. And so it's important to keep in mind that every baby develops on their own timeline and their own timetable, and so not to put too much pressure on your baby. The second point is, if your baby was born prematurely, you need to look at baby's actual due date when you start looking at these timelines and milestones, and not the date that baby was actually born. As one parent said to me, baby was not fully cooked when they came. Okay, so keep those 2 things in mind, and now let's get to these milestones. The first milestone is social emotional, and this is an important one because you want to see that baby is beginning to engage with you on a more social level. Baby is mirroring and imitating your emotions. When you smile, baby should smile as well. Up next, we have gross motor. Gross motor is referring to those big movements of big body parts, such as the legs. You want to see a lot of kicking with the legs and a lot of movement in the arms as baby is beginning to reach for things. This is very important as baby is starting to strengthen their muscles. Let's move on to fine motor skills. Fine motor skills are referring to the way baby reaches for and grasps toys, holds on to toys, and just manipulates objects with those little fingers. Now at this point, it's important to keep in mind that babies' hands are not very strong, and some babies may still keep their hands in a fisted position, but you want to look for baby to start opening those hands, and you want to also make sure that you're being careful that baby is playing with soft toys like this one, so that if baby accidentally drops the toy, which will happen quite often, that baby does not hurt herself. Up next, let's talk about cognitive skills. With cognitive skills, you want to look for things like baby shifting their level of communication or their mode of communication from crying to more like cooing, laughing, smiling, making deep eye contact with those people that baby is familiar with, and beginning to actually imitate a lot of your emotions. And so you want to look to see, is baby following along with you? Is baby expressing happiness when you're expressing happiness? Is baby showing that they're sad if you're sad? Is baby pouting a little bit when you're pouting? There's a particular little test that I like to do. I like to look baby directly in the eyes and do this. Now what that does, I call it my little circuit tester. What that does is it tells me whether or not baby has 1, received my message, 2, recognize that that message was just intended for baby, 3, process it internally, and then be able to try in some way to give it back to me. So I like to do that, and you can definitely try that with your kids. But you should definitely see your baby paying more attention to what's going on around. Let's move on and talk a little bit about baby's vision. Now, when baby's first born, they're really not seeing very clearly. They're seeing a lot of shadows. They're mostly seeing black and whites. They're not seeing a lot of colors. But pretty quickly, they begin to mature. Their vision begins to mature. And right around the 2-month mark, they're seeing very clearly. They're seeing colors. They're seeing faces. And baby should be able to track a toy being moved side to side, move their eyes from side to side to track that toy, and also actually turn their head from side to side. If you were to hold and move a toy about 6 inches away from baby's face, baby should be able to turn their head out while tracking that toy. If you're new to the channel, my name is Cherrick, and I've been a pediatric physical therapist for well over 20 years. Now, this channel is dedicated to empowering parents and caregivers with the knowledge and hands-on skills that they can use to lay their hands on their babies and make a positive impact. please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I drop my next video. Also, if your baby is struggling with tummy time, you may want to check out this video which deals with tummy time.